Good morning, everyone. You guys, good morning. So, I'm saying good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Fine. Keep responding, guys. If you don't respond, how would I come across to know whether you are able to hear me or not? Okay. So it's a two-way process. Just not that from one end only it goes on. So when you respond, when you acknowledge for something, then only I understand that you heard me. So my voice is clear to you all. So we are not working like for in online mode, so it's very difficult for us to understand whether anyway. Okay. So before I start the session, I have shared my screen. I just want to get answers for the two questions. One, I have shared my screen with you. Can you all see the screen? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, point number two, question number two, my voice is not having any disturbances. Is my voice clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
9018, can you mute yourself better? Can you mute yourself? Yeah. Okay. Once you're done with what you wanted to address, you just mute back. Okay. Okay. If you want to address something, unmute and mute back. So probably this is the first time you people might be interacting with me. So can I know from which batch you are? You all guys are. Which batch you people are from? What I know is you are definitely from Hyderabad because your roll number indicates that you people are from Hyderabad. So which all streams you belong to?
CSC, sir.
Okay, one is CSC 11 and CSC 9.
CSC 9, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. CSC 9, thank you Ashish. CSC 9 and CSC 11 are there. So there are two ways to answer the questions. If I ask you any question to answer, you can answer either in the chat box, you're dropping an answer in the chat box, but not addressing it to everyone. Especially address it to me. Okay, address it privately to me. Because even if you fail to answer something, it's not disclosed to others. And even if you answer it right, it's not disclosed, so let others also try it by themselves. Okay. So I will help you. Let us make it more interactive by discussing or by responding to the questions which I ask. Okay. So today I won't be asking many questions to you because it's all about the concepts which you are already knowing. So as displayed on the screen, the topic reads as quadrilateral. So you all know this concept. So there is nothing big deal into understanding the concept, but still it's very important when we step ahead for geometry. Learning geometry, it's very important to make sure that all the basic fundamentals, when it is fundamental, it's always a basic. So the fundamentals has to be quite clear. It definitely has to be clear. You know why? Because if the fundamentals are clear, basing on this fundamentals, if you start connecting these fundamentals one to one, or one to the other one, you start forming the typical problems. So you start solving the typical ones, the difficult ones as well. So the important task is to make sure that the fundamentals are clear. Now, when I am talking about the fundamentals, I'm honestly talking on fundamentals only. So there is nothing big. I'm not going to just drag out the so toughest theorem to be proven over here. No, a basic fundamentals, okay, which you all know together. Honestly speaking, which you definitely know it. All of you know it. Okay. So now we will understand the quadrilaterals first. Okay. So we will today I will focus on two topics. One is understanding the concept of quadrilateral, the fundamentals of quadrilaterals, then the fundamentals of circle. So when I talk, am I speaking fast? Am I speaking fast with you guys?
No, sir.
Or a no, not fine. So when I'm talking about quadrilaterals, okay, I will wait a minute. Let's close the doors. Yeah, quadrilaterals. So when I'm talking about quadrilaterals, what do you understand by quadrilateral? Like quad means what for? So basically, a quadrilateral is nothing but a four-sided polygon. Now, there's a new term called polygon. Now, when I'm talking polygon, what is polygon? Any closed figure with more than two sides is polygon. So closed figure. When I'm talking about closed figure means it has to be closed. Okay. If let's suppose more than two means the smallest number will be polygon. Is this a polygon? Yes, because it's a closed figure. Okay, this is a polygon. It's a four-sided figure. Four-sided polygon is said to be a quadrilateral. So this is a three-sided polygon. A three-sided polygon is said to be what?
Triangle.
Triangle. Very good. Okay, a triangle. Very good. A three-sided polygon which have all the sides equal and all the angles equal. What do we call it as?
Equilateral triangle.
Equilateral triangle.
Beautiful. Yes, very good. So I will just focus on the fundamentals on because see I know it to my experience. I just come from my experience. What I've experienced is if you're through with the fundamentals, let the toughest question comes in your way. Be it from the CAT examination, be it from the GATE examination for GMAT, anything you can solve it. Okay. So the three-sided polygon with having all sides equal, we termed it as triangle. That's okay. Now we will discuss about the four-sided polygon. As in our four-sided polygon, well, like let's suppose this is a polygon. This is a polygon. Okay. Now a four-sided polygon will have all the interior angles will sum up. All the interior angles will sum up to how much? In a four-sided polygon, sum of all the interior angles will sum to how much? That's important one. Now, if you're not knowing it, it's still okay, but you just try to identify. See, the concept should wonderful. 104 ones. I don't know what's. It's better if people rename by your roll number followed by name so that I can directly call you by name. Okay. So he says 360. Certain times it might come across, you might face in this way that there is a concept which you have gone through, but you are not able to recollect it. You're not able to recall it. So what you can do is you can just try identifying then and there itself. Like for an example, if you are not sure that what is the sum of all the interior angle of a quadrilateral, so you can do it in this way. Try breaking. Try. I mean, you can alter the figure. You just try altering the figure. You will understand. You split the figure or maybe extend the figure. Some actions, if you perform on the figure given to you, you will come across to the solution which you are expecting for. So now, if I say I draw a diagonal from one point to the other point, now how many triangles do I form in this quadrilateral? How many triangles do I form? Two triangles. Now you all know that sum of all the angles in a triangle is how much degrees?
180.
180, sir.
Sum of 180. That's it. So this is 180. Very good. Very good. 9018. Very good. 180. So 180, and this is again this is forming a triangle. So 180 plus 180, that is 360. Okay. So in a quadrilateral, sum of all the interior angles is equals to 380. 360 degrees. Now, if I say like sum of the opposite angles is equals to 180. Am I right in saying this? Am I right in saying this? I am saying that sum of the opposite interior angles, this one and this one, is equals to 180 degree. This one plus this one is equals to 180 degree. Will I be right in saying this? You just figure it out here. You don't need to work on it. I'm saying it is always that opposite angles makes to 180 degree. Now this is an obtuse angle. This is an obtuse angle. Let's suppose this is a figure which is measured drawn to scale. Okay. So an obtuse angle plus an obtuse angle, okay, will be how much? Will be greater than 180, less than 180, or more than equal to 180?
Greater than 180.
These are all the basic fundamentals. This is very basic fundamental. This is how you need to work. And the question will come on basis of this only. So it will be definitely greater than 180. Now let's suppose this angle plus this angle. This is an acute angle plus an acute angle. Will be how much? Will it be greater than 180, less than 180? How much it will be? It will be
Less
definitely
than 180.
less than 180. Very good. Okay, very good. Very good. Now, so this is clear to you. Sum of all the angles is interior angles is equals to 360 degree. Okay. Now, I will just try to erase this part, and we work on the types of quadrilateral, or you can say a special quadrilaterals or types of quadrilaterals. Let's say. Now, for first quadrilateral. Now, you all know that a quadrilateral is a four-sided figure. So, first quadrilateral, four-sided figures. The four sides are there. Now, we will just try to make one pair of opposite sides. One pair of opposite sides parallel. So how do I get my figure now? How do I get my figure now? Like this. So this is a parallel figure. This is a parallel. Only one side. Only one side is parallel. So the other side is not parallel. The other side is not parallel. The other side is non-parallel. Other opposite sides are non-parallel. Okay. So only one side on opposite pair of one opposite or pair of only one pair of opposite sides are parallel. The other sides is non-parallel. Okay. Then this is how parallel lines are indicated by just another. So this, if suppose this is a quadrilateral A, B, C, D. So you see that BC is parallel to A. But whereas AB is not parallel to CD. This has to be the condition. When you see a condition like this, what do we term this quadrilateral as? What do we term this quadrilateral as?
Trapezium.
Wow, wonderful. Yatharth, very good. That's good. Trapezium. We term it as trapezium. In certain countries, they call it as trapezoid. So I make it very clear to you that does mean also same. So it's not like this cube and cuboid are two different solids. But when it comes to trapezium and trapezoid is the same figure, two-dimensional structure which I'm talking about. Just the names by termed by the different countries. That's it. Okay, we can call it as trapezoid, or we can call it as like ZOID, okay, or we can call it as trapezium. Okay. Now, when these two sides are parallel, okay, not necessarily that AB is equal to CD. Not necessarily that AB is equal to CD. Not necessarily that AB is equal to CD means it can be equal also. It can be not equal also. Okay, can you say, can BC be equal to AD? Can BC be equal to, can it be equal? In a trapezium, can BC be equal to AD?
No.
No? No? Let's see whether yes or
Yes,
no.
sir.
Okay. Yes, now see, people are starting giving up an answer. Now let's suppose this is a line. Imagine this line is 5 centimeters, this line is 5 centimeters. Okay. Now, they are parallel. So how do I draw this? Now, when this is 5, okay, can I say that this one, or let's suppose, wait a minute. This is 5 and this is 5. Now this is parallel to this. Now we will start connecting this line and this line, or you take it, this line is parallel to this line. Okay, then you can use this line with this line. Okay. So whatever the point over here, if it is straight, I mean there is this is height. If this is becoming height, this is also becoming height. Okay, if this is getting like this, then this will also get, because see, these points are cutting at one line. This is a transversal going on, because this is a parallel and this is also transversal going on. So if these two lines are equal, then these two lines will also become equal. Agreed or not? Agreed or not? Getting it? Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in a trapezium, BC will not be equal to AD. Okay, because only one of the opposite sides is parallel. Only one of the opposite sides are parallel. Okay, not the parallel sides are not necessarily equal, but the non-parallel sides can be equal. So there it becomes a special trapezium. We call it as a special trapezium when the non-parallel sides get equal. Okay, we call it as isosceles trapezium. See, when this side is equal to this side and these two are not equal. So this side is equal to this side, then we call it as isosceles trapezoid or isosceles trapezium. Now height of a trapezium is drawn in this way. Better to remember. This can be the height of a trapezium. When I draw an altitude, this forms an altitude is always, the height is always 90 degrees. This is to be remembered. Okay, this has to be, because you cannot say the height is like this. If you want to calculate my height, you will just take a scale and you will put the scale straight vertical to the bottom of the ground. I mean till the ground. You won't say that you will take the scale over at the top of my head and just make it slant to the bottom of the ground. No, to the ground. You will just make it vertical, isn't it? So that's the height. So height is always perpendicular. Height is always perpendicular. If I use this trapezium, then this figure can either be a square or else rectangle. Okay, then this figure will become square or rectangle, wherein this side will be equal to this, wherein this side will be equal to this side. Is this clear, beta, everyone? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is isosceles trapezoid or trapezium. Now I question you. Sum of all the interior angles of a trapezium is equals to 360 degrees. Agreed or not?
Yes, sir.
Because it's a property of a quadrilateral. It is a type of quadrilateral. So a quadrilateral has
Yes,
have sum of all the interior angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degree. So in a trapezium also sum of all the angles will be equal to 360 degree. So this will definitely possess a property of quadrilateral. Okay, this will possess a property of quadrilateral. Now till now we heard about trapezium. So what exactly we came across to identify that only one of the opposite pairs, only one of the opposite, one pair of the opposite sides are parallel. Now what about the parallelogram? Let's say if we make both pairs of opposite sides parallel, that means how does it becomes now? Now we will just work on this. Okay, see how this is parallel, this is parallel. Okay, and this is parallel, this is parallel. This is parallel to this, is parallel to this, and this is parallel to this. So let's suppose this is a parallelogram ABCD. Now you know that AB is parallel to CD and AD is parallel to BC. Now when you see a parallelogram, okay, now if this is parallel to this and this is parallel to this, now that's where we observed that this line will be equal to this line in the previous case when we were discussing about trapezium. Okay, So in this case, opposite sides are parallel and opposite sides are what?
Equal.
Yes, they are equal in parallelogram. Opposite sides are equal and opposite sides are sides are equal and opposite sides are parallel. Okay. Now, if I draw a diagonal to this parallelogram, okay, if I draw this diagonal to parallelogram, then you will form two triangles. Do remember this part. Okay, they may ask you the height of the parallelogram. So now the height of a parallelogram can be drawn like this. Okay, or else it can be drawn outside the parallelogram as well. See why I'm just giving you hints of this all suggestions, because I know I've experienced that there are questions wherein they may ask you the height of the parallelogram. Okay, they may ask you sometimes the height. They may not give you the height of a parallelogram, or they may not give you, or that they can say you the diagonal is given and this is given, this height is given and this height is given. They can say you this way. Okay. Okay. Now the point is, since these two are congruent, so the height, this, even if this height is given, can you find the area of parallelogram? Yes. If you try to find the area of triangle ABC, you will find the area of triangle ADC. If you will multiply it, so it becomes the area of whole parallelogram. So this all are hints for you. So how do you break the figure? How do you alter the figure? Okay. Now about parallelogram. Okay. Now sum of all the interior angles of a parallelogram is equals to how much? Sum of all the interior angles of a
360.
parallelogram is equals to. Very good. Now in a parallelogram, if I say, let's suppose again I draw this parallelogram. Okay. Okay, let us work on the angles part as well in a parallelogram. Now this angle, now see, if I'm drawing AB is a parallel line to CD, I'm drawing this AD as transversal. See, if you see transversal, all of you know this. Whatever angle curves over here, let's suppose if it is A degree, then this curves over here as A degree. Agreed to this part, because when two parallel lines are going a transversal cutting, this might have been covered by Sharma sir to you in the previous session of yours. So if this is A degree and then this is A degree. So how much is this part?
180 minus
180
8.
minus 8.
Wonderful. That's 180 minus 8. Now when I say, yeah, 180 minus 8. Now see, now again, if you take this to AD as a parallel line and BC as a parallel line, DC is a transversal for you. So what if this is A degree, then this is how much degree? By basing on this,
180 minus 8.
180 minus 8. Very good. And this is again A degree.
Yeah.
From this, what do you come across? What conclusion you can
Opposite
come across?
angles are equal.
Very good. Opposite angles are equal. See, opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides are equal. Opposite angles are equal. Now, adjacent angles will sum up to how much? Sum of any two adjacent angles of a parallelogram is what?
180.
180. See, if you add this to this 180, you add this to this 180, you add this to this 180. Very good. But this is a parallel. In a parallelogram, the diagonals may not be equal to each other. In a parallelograms, the diagonals may not be equal to each other. But if I draw a diagonal like this, if I draw a diagonal by applying congruence triangle, congruence theorem, if you apply congruence properties over here, you'll find that this diagonal is bisecting each other. Diagonals are bisecting each other. So this will be equal to this, and this will be equal to this. This is bisecting, not necessarily perpendicular bisect, but they're bisecting. So I will write one more property over here. Diagonals bisect each other. Okay. This is what I will write it here. Okay. Now, this is all about parallelogram. What we have done in parallelogram, we made opposite sides are parallel. When we are making opposite sides parallel, we found this 3 to be apt. But what exactly we found is that opposite sides are equal, opposite angles. This is how we will find it. This is all proven. It's not simply that I'm saying in properties. I can prove you if you just take the congruence properties. Okay. Now, in making opposite sides parallel, now we'll just try to make one figure wherein this is definitely there. This is definitely there. Now here we made opposite sides equal. So let us make opposite sides parallel and opposite angles equal. Let's make opposite angles equal. Okay. Opposite angles are equal here also. Let's say all angles are equal. All angles in a parallelogram, all angles are equal. Let's suppose in a parallelogram, all angles are equal. Means sum of all the interior angles of a parallelogram is equals to 360 degrees. Now 360 divided by 4 means it is 90 degrees. So I'm just drawing figure. Now this forms what? This forms what? A parallelogram. If you hit a hammer from here, you make it straight, then it forms
Rectangle.
Very good. This forms rectangle. Then will this rectangle possess all the properties of a parallelogram? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, it will possess all the properties. Yes, Atharth, you are right. So it will possess all the property. So that does mean if I say the diagonals of a rectangle bisect each other, do you agree to this part?
Yes, sir.
Yes, the diagonals of a rectangle bisect each other. Now, but the diagonals of a rectangle are equal also. Because it is definitely bisecting each other, that's what I told you. The diagonals may not be equal. May not be equal means that can be equal or that cannot be equal. But when it comes to rectangle, the diagonals will definitely be equal and they bisect each other. So all these properties will be taken over here in rectangle, provided that all angles are also equal. Provided that all angles are equal. So then it forms 90 degrees. Then this is diagonal rectangle. Now, what if opposite sides are parallel? Okay, parallel and all sides are equal. All sides are equal. Here, all angles were equal. This is all angles are equal, and now I'm making all sides equal. Okay. Right. I'll just write it again. Okay. Here opposite sides are parallel, all angles were equal. Now I'm making all sides equal. A parallelogram which have opposite sides parallel. Now instead of opposite sides equal, I make all sides equal. That means this is equal to this, this is equal to this, this is equal to this. I'm not making angles equal. Then it forms what?
Rhombus.
Wonderful. Then it forms rhombus. Or if it just again just flip or rotate this figure, then it forms like this. Okay. Where this angle is equal to this angle. Now, can I say this angle to be equal to this angle?
Yes, sir.
I may say it, I may not say it, but because here we are discussing about all sides equal, not all angles equal. So in a rhombus, generally you won't find all angles to be equal. When it becomes equal, then we'll see what will happen. Okay. In rhombus, you don't find all angles equal. Okay. But can I say the diagonals of rhombus will bisect each other? Definitely bisect each other. Yes or no? Because it takes up the properties of the parallelogram, and
Yes,
parallelogram diagonals bisect each other. So whereas in rhombus, those are the diagonals make a perpendicular bisectors. That means this forms again 4 triangles. That forms again 4 triangles. Okay, so all sides are equal. All both now the diagonals may be equal, may not be equal. Okay, whereas in rectangle the diagonals are equal. The diagonals in this rhombus may be equal, may not be equal. We are just talking about sides to be equal. Okay. Now what if I mix both of this, wherein opposite sides are parallel, all angles are equal and all sides are equal? What will happen if all angles are equal and all sides are equal? So opposite sides are parallel, all angles are also equal. That means it is 90 degree, and all sides are also equal. What will it form then? This all sides. Though I'm not drawing a perfect figure here, just because of the space. So then it becomes what?
Square.
Square. Wherein all sides. So this is side, this is side, this is side, this is side. Now, will the diagonals of a square will be equal? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But rhombus does not have equal diagonals. So from where did the sides of diagonals of a square got equal? I'm mixing up all the properties of rectangle and this rhombus. So in rectangle, the diagonals are equal. Though the rhombus does not have equal diagonals, but the rectangle has diagonals equal. So we can say the square will also have diagonals equal. Achha, the diagonals of a square will be a perpendicular bisectors. Agreed to this part or not? Diagonals of a square will be a perpendicular bisectors. You agreed to this part or not?
Yes, sir.
Nalini, you says yes. Why Nalini? How? Nalini have dropped me an answer. There is another guy saying yes. Why yes, beta? Here they don't bisect each other. In rectangle, they don't bisect each other. They bisect, but they don't form what is a perpendicular. How do you say that in a square they are perpendicular bisected? You know, because it takes, yes, in rhombus they are perpendicular bisected. So definitely in square also they will be perpendicular bisected because it takes up all the properties of rhombus and rectangle. Very good. So you all know this part, so it's nothing big deal in it. So begin coming back. If I read trapezium, only one pair of the opposite sides are parallel. Okay, in parallelogram, both pair of opposite sides are parallel. In rhombus, taking this is a part of it. So provided that all sides are equal, okay, and this is the second part of it, all angles are equal. If you mix together this two, okay, if I mix this plus this, then it forms a square when all sides are equal as well as all angles are equal. Now, two questions to you, very fastly answer me. I say that all the rhombus are squares. Agreed or not? All the rhombus are squares. Do you agree to this part or not?
No, sir.
No? Why?
So all the rhombus, it means like the angles won't be 90 degrees.
Wonderful. So the angles won't be. Okay. All the squares are rhombus. Do you agree to this part?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. All rectangles are trapezium. All rectangles are trapezium.
Yes, sir.
All rectangles are trapezium. Now in
So one
trapezium,
pair
never
is
take. Yes, only one pair should be parallel. Okay. Okay. All rectangles and rhombus are quadrilaterals. Do you agree to this part? All rectangles and rhombus are quadrilaterals.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes,
Yes, sir.
fine, very good. Okay, now that's sufficient. If you apart from this information, if you just know the areas, believe me, any question comes in your way, and if you cannot solve it, with the information which I have given to you, trust me, guys, and with an additional information of knowing the areas of it, how to find the areas. That's in the next class of us. Okay, you can solve any question which is toughest in this particular mode of quadrilaterals. You can answer it. Quadrilaterals should be a cakewalk for you guys. It becomes a little tough when triangles involve into it or circles get into it. Then little tough. Otherwise, still it's not tough at all. Oh, this is a new term called polygons. Okay, polygons we have already know. What is a polygon? We all have heard that. We learned it that. So I discussed about polygon, saying that a three-sided, two or more than two-sided figure, closed figure is a polygon. Now, a polygon is said to be a regular polygon. Regular polygon when all sides and all angles are equal. Okay, polygon is said to be regular polygon. All sides and all angles are equal. Achha, if all sides are equal, necessarily all angles are equal. I repeat, I say that all sides are equal means necessarily all angles will be equal. Agreed to this part? Not agreed.
No, sir.
So
No. But can you give me an instance where all sides are equal but not all angles
rhombus.
are equal?
Rhombus.
Wonderful. Very good, Yatharth. This is how you are making your concept more clear. Very good. Good, Peter. Very good. Now I will just discuss about a regular polygon. These are all which is in expression format. I give in an easy way. Achha, now give me a figure wherein all regular polygon with four-sided figure. Four-sided regular polygon. What do we call it as? Four-sided regular polygon. Square. Now in a square, let's suppose this is a square. If I ask you sum of exterior angles of a square, will be how much? Or let us identify sum of exterior angle of square, sum of exterior angles of triangle. Sure. I have drawn a triangle over here. Okay, but see, you all can see there is a triangle I have drawn. Okay. Now I will just change the colors. Where am I? Okay, sorry. Yeah. So, better. This is A degree. Okay, this is B degree. This is C degree. Okay, this is becoming how much? 180 minus A. How much is this becoming? 180 minus C. This is 180 minus B. So if I add, okay, if I add this straight line, this straight line, this straight line, okay. So how much is the straight this straight line? Okay, so all three straight lines add up to how much here in a triangle? 540. Yes, all three straight lines add up to 540. Now in which, okay, 540. Okay, now if I try to identify, see 180, okay, minus A plus 180 minus B plus 180 minus C. These are what? All the exterior angles of the triangle. Then this add up to 540 minus A plus B plus C. Yes? A plus B plus C is how much?
180.
180. How is it 180?
Sum of interior angles of a triangle.
Most of a triangle, that's it. So this is 180 subtracted from 540, we get 360 degrees. So in sum of all the interior and exterior angles, these are all exterior angles, isn't it? This is all exterior angles. So it becomes 360 for a triangle. Now let us calculate for a square, okay? For a square. Now let us identify for a square. So this is one straight line, this is another straight line. You can just work on like this way, okay? So this is one straight line, okay? And this is another straight line, another straight line. So this is an exterior angles for the square. Yes or no? Okay. Now I can say that this is 90 degree. Okay, this is 90 degree. So this all these are this is how much together? 270 degree. Yes. Yes or no, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Fine. Now you don't need to do this whole part. This is not exterior angle. Exterior angle is you need to form this part. This is your exterior angle. This is your exterior 90 degrees because this is interior angles and exterior angle. So what exactly I wanted to say is an exterior angle plus an interior angle makes it how much degree now? See here an interior angle plus an exterior angle. So this is an exterior angle. C degree plus 180 degree minus C degree is making you how much? 180 degree. So an exterior angle plus an interior angle is making you how much? 180 degree. You're getting me? So that means an exterior angle is calculated on straight line, not this complete line. This is not this complete angle. Okay? The exterior angle is calculated on a straight line basis. Okay, so if this is 90 degrees, so this is 90 degrees. So a square will have sum of all its exterior angles how much? 360 degrees. Agree to this part. Is this cleared? Nalini, Yatharth, Satvik, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes? Yeah, fine. So from this, what you conclude that sum of any n-sided regular polygon, okay, you have the sum of exterior angles of any n-sided regular polygon is equals to 360 degrees. This is the most important information, okay? And if you know this part, you take any polygon or any question you ask it, you can answer it. Now see, if I ask you what is an interior angle, just a single interior angle of a decagon. Now, a decagon means a decagon is a regular polygon with how many sides, beta?
10 sides.
10 sides. I'm asking you an interior angle. Now identify the, what will be the sum of all the exterior angles of a decagon?
1440.
Exterior angle, beta. This is all
It's
exterior
a,
angle.
360.
360 degrees. So 360 is an exterior angle. Now, if I ask you only an interior angle, so what is one exterior angle will be how much then? 36 degree. This is an exterior angle for a decagon, isn't it? Now, what will be an interior angle? You all know that exterior angle plus an interior angle is equals to 180. Then you can also say that 180 minus exterior angle will equal to the interior angle. Agree to this part? Yes. So 180 minus 36 is equals to 1440. Yes, yes or no? Oh, sorry, 144. 1440 will be sum of all the interior. Cleared, everyone? Cleared? Give me an interior angle for a pentagon. Interior angle for a pentagon. One interior angle. A pentagon is a regular 5-sided figure.
108.
108.
8.
108. All of you, is this clear? Yeah, 108. It is 108 because 360 divided by 5 is 72. That is an each exterior angle. Now I remove 72 from 180. That becomes 108. That's it. Now you don't need to remember all this expression n minus 2 into 180 degrees or sum of an exterior angles is 360. Then this also can be done in other ways. Okay. With regards to the diagonals, I will just explain you the diagonals part when we deal with the permutation combination or else some other topic also. We'll work on it. It's very easy to identify how many diagonals can be constructed for any n-sided figure. So at this stage, it's okay. Okay. Now, yeah, the polygons are done. So we will work on the circles part. Okay. Let us work on the circles. So I just frame you a question and you keep answering to what you know exactly about the circle. Let's say we'll take a circle here. So this is circle central O. Now my first question. The distance from center to any point on the circumference of a circle said to be what?
Radius, sir.
A line passing from one point on the circumference to the other point on the circumference passing by the center is said to be what?
Diameter.
Okay. Now this point to this point is a radius, you say. This point to this point. If this is again radius, so you say that if this is a line, this is a line, AB is a line, then this becomes, which passing through a center, then it becomes diameter. This is one information you give. Okay, very good. I say a line passing from one point of the circumference to other point of the circumference of the circle is said to be what?
Chord.
Once again, chord. Can a chord be a diameter then?
No, sir.
Can a chord be a diameter?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Yes. Can a chord? I'm saying, is there a possibility
Yes, sir.
of a chord? Yes. If I ask you what is the longest chord in the circle, it's the diameter which is said to be a longest chord in the circle. Is this cleared? There were few girls who were having, and the few boys having a difficult, understand. Yes, yes, better the one who said no. Did you get this point? Can you just acknowledge me this part? I'm saying that. Yes, it's true, because it's a chord. I'm saying what you told me is that a chord is something which a line passing through one point of the circumference to the other point of the circumference. Yes, it's one point of the circumference, irrespective whether it is passing through the diameter or not. Okay, so this is also a chord. This is also a chord. Let's suppose I will draw one more figure over here. Imagine that this is a circle. Don't read the other part of the information. We'll work on that part. Okay. So this is a chord. This is also a chord. If this is a central, okay. Okay. This is a chord. Now this is, let's suppose, line AB. Okay. Now this chord forms an arc. This is arc. Arc AB. We call it as arc AB. And can we say this also as an arc AB? Yes or no? I'm saying this also as arc AB. Am I right in saying this? Better, all of you are hearing me. I'm saying that there are two arcs AB here. Agreed to this part or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So when they talk about, when they question you, if they're talking about arc AB, then how would you guess to know that which arc they're talking about? Now I say the circumference of arc AB is the length of arc AB. If I'm saying the length of the arc AB is 60 centimeters. So which arc you are talking about? Faster, better. So you cannot differentiate there. So you're not able to. So how do you say that then which arc they have to specify? How do you specify this is the arc which I'm talking about, or this is anyone? You all know it better. Come on, just try recalling it. There is nothing that Suryam is trying to train you. You all knew it. Any one of you? Yes, Nalini, very good. So this is said to be a minor arc, very good. And this is said to be a major arc. The major one will be having more the distance than the minor arc. If the major arc is equal to the minor arc, I'm talking about what? If a major arc is equals to minor arc, I'm talking about what? I'm talking about the semicircle. Yes, the diameter. Yes, the diameter means the diameter is distributing the circle into two semicircles. Very good. Okay. Now, what is this? Okay. Now let us come to this point. Now see, this is radius. Let's suppose this is radius. This is radius, isn't it? Now, see, whatever angle is obtained over here, from the same points, if I draw an angle at any point on the other part of the arc, this will be half of this. So if this is 2 theta, then this is theta. Be like this. Again, this will be theta. Or it may be like this also. This is still theta. You are getting me? Okay, I will erase this and to draw a neat figure. So if this is theta, then this is 2 theta. Okay, cleared everyone? Cleared better?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now uh, there is a saying that let's suppose if this is a circle, if this is a circle and this is a triangle, that this triangle is this is set O. The triangle with three sides touching on the points of the circle, but in one of the sides. Then this triangle is said to be which kind of a triangle? Can I say this is an isosceles triangle? Any perfect thing which you know about this? Now, if you want to know, see, how much is this angle subtended at the center? How much is this?
180, sir.
180. So from the same point, it is going on the other part of the arc, isn't it? So this should be how much?
90.
90. That's it. So in a semicircle, if one of its sides is the diameter and the three vertices touching on the circle, then it's always a right angle triangle. Okay, always a right angle triangle. That's important information. Okay, now I draw another triangle here. How much will be this one?
90.
Wonderful. Yes, Athak, you're right. This is again 90. Acha, if these two are 90 and 90, so it is definitely forming a quadrilateral here. Okay, it is forming a quadrilateral. So sum of this is guaranteed part. This is guaranteed. This is definite part. So sum of opposite angles in a quadrilateral, in a cyclic quadrilateral. In a cyclic quadrilateral means it is forming a quadrilateral having all the angles equals to 360 degrees. Because see, if this is together making other 90, okay, this is A degree and this is B degree. So you know that A degree plus B degree is equals to 90, and this is again A degree plus B degree is 90. So sorry, if suppose this is C degree and this is D degree, then C degree plus D degree is equals to 90. Okay, so how much is this? ABCD is becoming 180, and you know these two opposite sides is 180. So a cyclic quadrilateral, if a quadrilateral drawn wherein all the vertices are touching on the circumference of the circle, then we call it a cyclic quadrilateral. Means sum of all the interior angles is 360 and sum of opposite angles is equals to 180. This is important, very important. Sum of opposite angles is equals to 180 degree. Sum of all the angles is equals to 360 degree as it is a quadrilateral. Agreed, everyone? Okay. Cleared? Now it will be 90 and 90 only if the diagonal is the diameter. It will be a 90 and 90 only if it is only if the diagonal is what do you say, diameter. Yeah. So this is the important information which I've given. We will continue the other part in the next class. So we'll call it a day because I've taken almost more than the time allotted to me. Let us conclude the session over here. Okay. So did you all reach the points? I mean, did you all reach to the concern which I've taught you, or is there any doubts? Was it reachable to you all? Was it reachable, everyone? Just can you put
Yes,
up a
sir.
small?
So
Yeah. Chalo. Let us call it a day, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. You people were cool, calm, responsive. Okay, and you responded well, in fact. Okay. Thank you, guys. Let us call it a day. You may leave the session now.